Hello and welcome back to Spekd for more painting, building, hobbying and crafting, and I want to focus on some solo hobbying at this time. Now, when it came to collecting our models in the past, quite often a lot of us waited for these box sets that came out, and we bought a lot of models at discounts for the armies that we were either going to build or that we already had and we wanted to add to. And most of the time we never actually got round to playing the actual standalone game itself. Well, now might be that perfect opportunity in time, as due to current events has made it that, you know, having to play solo games to get your 40k fix is the way to go forward, or any wargaming games in fact. So when it comes to this game in particular, Deathwatch Overkill, it was released a few years ago. You probably won't be able to buy it unless you kind of find a set on eBay. You might find the empty box with the rules, etc. That can happen on the board tiles. But at the same time, again, if you already have the models, you probably already bought this set, and hopefully you didn't throw out the bits. As I'm a bit of a hoarder, I tend to do keep bits and pieces, including the boxes, at best. So I'll open it up, show you what it is, and let you have a quick look. Now you can see the models in here are all over the show, and the box has fallen apart. The dice are not the original dice, but it does not matter. Effectively what I've done here is got my original bits, my range ruler, still got that in there. So if you have got this and you're like, what do I need? Well, you need a range ruler, and I'm going to measure out how far roughly that is between each section, just in case you want to recreate one. Hold on. Okay, so here's a range ruler. There we go. We've got about 2 inches for the assault range, 7 for the combat, and the whole thing goes all the way out to what, 16 inches. There you go. So you can see roughly the zones there. Now that's important because the way that weapons work in this game is slightly different to the standard game of 40k. So if you go back to remembering that, or you might not have seen it, you might have forgotten it, well, you just use different range. Different ranges have different abilities and different effects. That's all. Very simple. Now this game is very much like a combination of Blackstone Fortress and Warcry, or Kill Team. It's actually named after this anyway, because these are the kill teams. I'll get to the models shortly, but I just want to go through the cards. Now I did play this a few days ago. I have multiple sets of cards, so you actually get more than one set of boards. But it was fun. I had a great time with it, and I was up till about 2 o'clock in the morning just playing this through. And it did have various results each time I did play, so it was good. It was good. If you can play this in a way that it is random, so you can focus in. I say focus, and the camera's been getting out of focus. You can focus on randomizing what you do in a really big way. When it comes to using the Genestealer Cult cards, but I'll get to that later. So you have your multiple Deathwatch characters, and they have 2 states. Their first normal state, they each have a special ability, they each have a movement, a speed number rating, an armor rating, and multiple weapons, and they function at different ranges. So long as that enemy is within that range, it works. They have special effects on them, such like blast attacks every creature in the same area. You just have to roll for each one. I think rend, cleave removes the armor, and rend attacks multiple characters. Or it's the other way. I can't remember right now. So different characters, different members from that Deathwatch, the original squad that you get. As you can see there. Now they don't have different effects once they are wounded. That's just to tell you if they take another hit, they leave the game. So there you go, multiple characters there, and they were very well designed. Now when you look at the models do all have their helms on in most cases, apart from one, which is I think it's Cassius, and this Psyker. It comes with the Genestealer cards, or the main characters, the Magus, Patriarch, and the Primus. It comes with the Broodmind Hive cards. So these are like the AI, artificial intelligence in most games, like Kingdom of Death, etc. So, or even the table, which is on the back of the Blackstone Fortress, which you'll probably see one of the videos on the channel here. Once you're playing this, I'm just trying to think of the best way to explain this in a really rapid way, because I don't want to give away too much, but at the same time, I do encourage you to play it, just to, you know, kick boredom if you need to. Not just if you need to, but it is a good way to kick boredom. I'm doing this on the fly. Each of these cards can only be placed at the edge of the board at a location. So it's like the original blips from Space Hulk. So when you put the blips down on Space Hulk, you don't really know what the next item may be that's upcoming. You just have an idea that something's around the corner. It's kind of like that. And if you're doing the hive mind objective, if you're playing yourself, what I suggest is they tell you the size of the hand that you can draw. Draw them blind. Some of them might say you have to put down 5 cards, 6 cards, or what have you, or some might say a random amount. Just roll a d6 and put down that amount of cards around the board on the access points, and turn them over afterwards. So it's a surprise to yourself, because your movement for the Deathwatch happens beforehand. So that helps that functionality of playing it blind. And there's multiple different things. Now, the reason why I say keep some of these in your hand, maybe at some point, is because they have different effects. You might get the main character itself, so it tells you what's coming onto the board, or it will give you an effect that can happen, like a surprise attacks or unbelievable swiftness. So it give you like a bonus to the Gene Stealer cult. That's what I'm looking for. That's a lot better. To start off with, you will be using mostly Gene Stealer and hybrid cards, which you can already see I've been using and playing with. And then later on in the missions, as it is like a campaign build up, you will get to the Gene Stealer cult, Patriarch, the Primus and the Magus. Okay, so that's that out the way. There you go, got another set there. The most intriguing thing about this, or say intriguing, but one of the things that kind of sold me on this back in the day, or reminded me now I should say, is this beautiful board. It's lovely texture, hard board. There's 8 board pieces there, and they are dual-sided. One of them's kind of blank, but they are dual-sided. Each section has like an access point. If it goes off the map, that's the place where the Gene Stealer cult can access. Now, even if you haven't got Gene Stealer cult models, you could use just Gene Stealers. You could use Astra Militarum. You could use whatever you want. It doesn't have to be necessarily what's on the card, but you could use an equivalent because it will function pretty much the same way. They have different setups or prearranged setups that you can use. You can randomize a setup if you want to, you know, with a D8, you can just roll out and have fun. And then D8 and D6, or D2, or however you want to play it. The book there, the Overkill Deathwatch book. I didn't get the set with the, it wasn't even an expansion. There was another set that came out that had the Eldar with it. I didn't actually get that set because it was more based on the game, and I didn't really want the Eldar. So I bought the Start Collecting box set. For the kill team, I bought Armored Claw for the Gene Stealer cult, and that's how I started out on both of these armies. It was all at the same time through this box set. So we've got a little bit of information here, a little bit of story building, just as with Blackstone Fortress. Here's comparative. And it also reminds me of the Scouts. I think it's the Scouting game. We have little tiles that you build with the Gene Stealers. I think it's called Death Jungle or something. Anyway, so this is pretty much the setup. Very simple. Those are the original dice. They explain the types of cards, different games, different bit of artwork there. You really get to see servitors really doing what they do. Turn sequence, it is very simple, and they condense this and put it on the back of the book, which I really do appreciate it. So Broodmind, which you just draw your cards, put them where you want to, as regards to creatures entering for ambushes or get them ready. Deathwatch moves, you then bring on the models. Deathwatch attacks, cultist attack. But if you do have any movement, you take it with Gene Stealers, but on the first stage you don't. Deathwatch then comes in. Profiles are straightforward, very clean, very simple. The amount of dice at what range, and what they are, their speed, and if they have armor. If they don't have an armor, everything has 1 wound, and they're gone unless they have a card, one of these cards, because there's 2 sides. Other than that, that is it. But let's get to the mission setup here, because you've seen the models, because you've probably got them if you haven't. There you go. They just speak about the different variety of weapons, a little bit about Genestealer Cult, the original kind of version they had at this time frame. So things have changed. They give you a rule there for jumping across broken parts of tiles, which is only the assault distance, which is handy. If a zone is full, you can't fill up any more models. You can't move into that zone if it's got too many models and you can't get through it. But anywhere in that zone that you move to, so if you have a speed of 2, you can move, say, from here, go 1, 2. So you could just move 2 sections, even if it's tiny and one's long. You can move your model all the way up to the end. As long as you don't come outside that zone, it's fine. It speaks about combat, attack phases, multiple weapons. You can see there the dice you roll. Here we have armor saves, wounds. This is pretty much the same, because you've got armor save rating on there and what have you. You even have like a feel no pain character that gets like a to ignore wounds on a 5. You get characters with berserk rage. That was a model range back in the day, and heavy metal did some beautiful work there. Now these came out, I think, in 7th edition. When they actually came out in 7th edition, the rules for them was pretty much you can field every single one of these models as an individual unit. Then when 8th came out, they were like, yeah, now let's just put everything in together quite nicely. So mission briefing, how you set up boards, what you need to do. Lovely piece of artwork on the box, and bam, look, there we go. Now this mission, I actually played with the little one and the missus, and it was actually so easy for them to play this and kind of get into it. So if you've got your family knocking around, you're like, hey, you know, you always see me going places playing these models, you need to play now. If not, you could just play on your own. It didn't take too long to explain the card mechanics. You know, if you got this number, you need to roll high, or if you got this number, you need to roll low, or you know, it's all those things. It was straightforward. But I do suggest that if you are playing with people which are new to this, that you are the one which takes control of the Genestealer ambush or the Broodmind. So okay, here. So the first mission, they always give you, or every mission, they always give you objectives, and these are the things that you're aiming to do. For both sides, you know, it might be killing models or get to a certain location or eliminate the enemy or stand guard of a particular place for a certain amount of time. When it comes to mustering the kill teams, in other words building your kill team army, it would always tell you how many models are required. Sometimes 4, sometimes 7, sometimes 6, you know, whatever's required. But pay attention to that, because it does make a big difference. The Broodmind deck, this is the deck which gives you the different characters that may come on, like Blackstone Fortress, the enemy tables, they're like the units 1 to 4. That then brings in Genestealers or whichever models which are appropriate on the cards to that amount. Or it can give you that kind of boost to, or give you an advantage. What's it called again? It's called the Gambit. There we go. See, it is using Blackstone Fortress. The Gambit is used to move your turn order. See, I knew it. Games Workshop. I tell you, okay. So pay attention as well to how many cards you got put down each turn, or how many have to be ambushes. So this is the board setup. All you do is you copy that with your board layout there. So there are 8 boards. Then they're reversible, so 16 you know, different faces, multiple combinations. So just lay that out. The Deathwatch always start off on the red location points there, and you just, you know, check out your mission special rule. Make sure you remember this as well, because it makes a big difference. I didn't utilize this rule once and it didn't work out well. Utilize it second time and everything made a lot of sense. So the missions are quite well balanced, as long as you're kind of paying attention to what you need to do. Second mission there, that's where I got to. That was a lot of fun, and I'll be honest, I lost, I think, 3 of my 4 Deathwatch models in one mission and the mission was, you know, just destroy X amount of gene stealers. And I had 1 shot left. I had a grenade or a blast weapon, and it was fantastic. So I managed to get that total. What happened to that model afterwards, you know, once the curtains went down, they're probably no longer in existence. So if you are interested in this, if you have got these models, if you have got the balls knocking around, and you know, you might have lost the book, you might not, you might want to give this a go yourself. I mean, the details are here. The details are here. I think it's okay in this time to, you know, let you see it and go through it. I haven't gone through all these missions myself, but I can already tell just by looking at this. There are multiple sections where you cross over, so you might be on one board, playing on one board, then there's a second section of the board that you come into, which is very Blackstone Fortress, or I should say Blackstone Fortress is very much based on this, and that's a large board set out there. I'm not going to spoil that for myself. But it gets interesting. But in the end of this, you're obviously going to have to face off against the Patriarch, and that's where things are going to get serious. But as you can see, it's a continued mission for you to advance, grow. I mean, they've even got storyline still going on, and keep an eye on this because they have suggested characters they think you should actually use on each mission, which is actually pretty cool. And it's still got each of the artwork there. I mean, look at that. I know we've got the mission, but that looks awesome. I think that's the first name I've ever seen for a Gene Stealer cult character. Yeah. Alright, okay. So that's a final mission there. I mean, it's tempting to play this out on the channel. I mean, if you're interested in me doing so, you know, let me know. And that's something that I can do, because this is something I can you know, go solo with quite easily. Some information there, the team, and a little bit of history. And this really pulled me into, you know, getting these sets as well. Just the model value. I mean, playing the game now, I'm kind of frustrated that I didn't play it originally. Would have had a lot more fun. But then again, painting models, getting them done, getting them onto the table for games of 40k. Was the main concern at that time, especially seeing that I can't field a Corvus Blackstar in here. Okay, all right, let's get the models kind of laid out at least so you can see what's here. Yeah, now laying them out, it kind of reminds me as to why I actually got the box set right away. Look at the amount of models in there. Yeah, but hey, look, if you've already got a kill team, even if you kind of like have the models but they're not the exact same models, you've probably got a Terminator, you've probably got an Assault Marine, and you could just mix and match and chuck them in. You definitely got a biker somewhere. You know, just use them as per the characters as you want, call them different names, don't worry about it, you can still play. Now as for the Gene Stealer cult, yeah, you could probably switch them over for, you know, your Cadian or sneaky Gene Stealer cult character there, or, you know, Gene Stealered him up. Did I get these? I've got to say, for models that I painted right in the beginning, these are not too bad. Basics could do a bit of work, but whatever. You know, you could use Astra Militarium for most of these if you've got a couple of Gene Stealers knocking around, or, you know, you've got yourself a Broodlord. You know, it's no different. The base length is different, but that's not going to make any difference. You could use any random Psyker. If you've got Blackstone Fortress, you probably could, you know, pick and choose and mix out the characters as a Primus. I always lost his needle on that, no matter how many times I glued it down. Got 2 familiars there. You got your standard neophytes. You got 2 grenades, and you got, I think it's a seismic cannon, or I don't know, laser cannon, whatever you want to call it. I don't mind. You got, in the book itself, it calls these guys just neophytes anyway, or no, acolytes. But these are the what, 3rd generation, these are 4th generation. So they did change that once it all kind of came out. They're just all Gene Stealers as far as the kill team was concerned, apart from the Aberrants, which you only get 4, which I did use those for my kill team, so I did redo the bases. I think yeah, I've got the video for these bases, and you can see they still stand as they are. A couple of Gene Stealers, which are just Gene Stealers from my Tyranid collection. It didn't have to be specific. So again, setup doesn't take long because the board chunks are quite big in comparison to Blackstone Fortress. You sit there puzzle piecing for a bit of time, and that could take a while, and that's one of the reasons why I slowed down playing it. Not that you couldn't work it out, but once you kind of rearranged all the puzzle pieces and they had no numbers on them, and you know, you're looking at like a good 10 minutes. You're like 10 minutes setting up the board, and then you got to set up the characters, etc. That took a while. This is a lot quicker. I'm not saying this any better. They're two different games, but this one is easier to get started, kick in, have fun. The dice do what they do, and that's the story it tells. There is one thing that's in my Blood Angel set at the moment, which is his teleport homer. One of the characters do get to carry a teleport homer, and they can just use that as his movement. Rather, I've done it again. His speed move number, so he can teleport to that person versus moving one square. I think that's really it for that. So if you have got these models knocking around, if you have got the board, and even if you don't, I think there's enough information for you to see to give yourself a little game of this. I mean, you know, you got the pieces. It doesn't have to be the flat board. With the ranges that are worked out, you can, you know, the squares are either combat width, assault width, or combat length. You know, to give you an idea. You know, you can work that out easily. See. But other than that, that's it. So I hope that you can use that for your hobby time, and that's the Deathwatch Overkill. You know, if you like the video, you like what you see, and you know, you want me to run a couple of games of this, I can do that. Just put in the comments below, you know, add some likes, and share it with your friends, especially at this time, because I know some people which are kind of like wringing their knuckles. So at least if I can do this, and it's what I can do right now at this time, then that's what I'll do. Okay, so I appreciate your time. As always, I've had fun. I hope you all had fun. And either way, PC out.